I'm Matt Logan, the host of This Matters in Real Life.
Sorry. I'm sorry. We thought you were someone else.
During the recording of the following podcast, no Democrats, Republicans, actors, chemists, dogs, cats, well, you get the idea, were harmed. However, it has been said some have been offended by the opinions seen and heard here. Oh, and please remember to pull clips out of context.
Fishing lures, dresses, car battery cases, toilet seats, and lipstick. What do these items have in common?
Things you wear.
Can you get it at Target?
Things you wear. A toilet seat? Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I've seen that. Get it at Target?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we should talk about that.
Introduce yourself.
Naomi Saylor.
You're wrong.
Are you
Naomi
sure?
Saylor.
Is that
It's
my
not
name?
Target.
Oh. Thought you were checking my name here.
Greg Ugland.
We got to do it a little different, and you can't introduce you the same exact way.
Threw me
every
for a loop.
time.
Keep us on our toes.
It's oil. These items have oil in common, and hundreds more. What's really remarkable about this particular thing we're going to talk about being oil, and that the hot topic and expensive topic, we don't realize, we don't understand how deep this goes.
Mm-hmm.
The boats, the kind of oil that, I mean, the material that's used for boats comes from oil, ink, the obvious things like motor oil and fuel and grease and all those things. But, there's a lot of oil that go into tires for your car.
Yeah.
You ever heard of cassettes? Hey, everybody, just really quick, if you haven't done so yet, go ahead and hammer the like button. Okay, thanks a lot. We appreciate it. Now back to the show.
Should we? No.
yeah.
Yes, of course.
That as just being kind of a funny, but
That is funny.
glues. There's a lot of different epoxy type glues that it use. Deodorant, footballs. Cancel football.
Okay.
No drilling oil. Football's over.
That would be an answer
Well-
to prayer for some.
Till next August.
Kidding.
It goes on and on. Paint and the insect repellent and
Yeah.
hair color. I don't color my hair, so that's not going to affect me at all. But the list goes on and on and on. But here's the big one that a lot of people don't understand is in hospitals. The kind of products in hospitals that use oil is significant.
Wow.
I mean, if you got rid of oil altogether and the petroleum and what that makes for products, we would be dead.
That's
Pretty
kind
much
of scary
any-
to think about, isn't it?
Pretty much anything made with plastic.
Anything with plastic, absolutely,
And
100%.
how much plastic is there just in the hospital setting?
And yeah, we're not talking just
everywhere.
plastic bags. Yeah, I mean, we're talking major life-saving
Medicines, too?
medicines. There's, isn't that crazy?
I'm looking through the list. It's like
Yeah.
it never ends here.
And so you have people that are screaming at each other, unfortunately, about, these 9,000 plus leases that the Biden administration is saying are out there, and why don't they drill and blah, 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 blah. So the thing for me is the context, right? And we constantly are talking about context here. Is there is so many different layers to all of these things, and if we're only looking at one thing and one narrative and whoever the loudest voice is to us, if we listen to Tucker and we listen to Don Lemon and all of these different things, that's what are we going to hear?
Right.
One thing, and that's it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the problem for me. I posted a funny meme and I got a lot of pushback on it. And it's pretty crazy. The reality is when the Biden administration comes out and says there are 9,000 unused drilling permits, that's not a lie,
Right.
but that's a very small piece of that puzzle, right? And so I was curious, and so I started looking at, well, what else is used? It's not just about putting gas in our car.
Yep.
Just let's all drive electric cars is the weirdest, in my opinion, dumbest thing ever. Because guess what? Electric cars, the battery cases literally come from oil. And guess what? our infrastructure
Need oil.
cannot support electric cars.
Not even close.
California
we have
alone,
brownouts
Yeah.
as it is.
in California.
yeah, California alone has been pushing electric vehicles and been trying to build infrastructure for a very long time.
Yeah.
And they're not keeping up at all.
That's crazy.
So, come on, let's look at the whole picture here. That's the whole point of this. There's a lot of pieces to this puzzle. I'm doing all the talking. I'm going to shut up now for a little bit. Let's hear from you.
Oh, do I have to start this one here? So fishing lures, I don't need that. Dresses, I need those. No, but I mean, it's like there's so many products we don't even know how it's made. I've worked on studying with my kids how companies work and how we have, I don't know if you've ever heard of the Tuttle twins, but they have some books that are pretty cool. And it shows how the products just to make one pencil come from all over the world to make the product. And if one of those parts isn't functioning or gets slowed down, it affects the whole company. It affects the whole product from being distributed properly and on time. And we are very dependent on having our emergent needs fulfilled, like the bandages, the medicines, anything you mentioned with the hospitals. People want to have these things and they expect it, that level of living, and that's what we're known for, to have a very good quality of life here.
I bet our face masks that we were forced to wear
Do
have
they
oil
have
in
that?
them. I bet they did.
Some of them do for sure. Yeah. Some of the materials that are used in some of them. So someone on a different, well, actually we did a podcast, but someone after that podcast asked me, and so I called him, and he forgot I had his number. I'm not a thumb warrior. I don't like thumb wars. I'm not a keyboard warrior, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So you got to get the nuance and context. It's got to be at least by voice to me, if not in person. So I called him, and I'm like, hey, what do you mean by this? I'm not sure I really fully understand.
Yeah.
And so, he's very, very much in, stop drilling, stop taking oil, do it as fast as we can, all of these things. So I said, okay. I asked the question, did you listen to the whole podcast? He said no.
Oh boy.
I'm like, okay, well, there you go. That's A, out of context.
Yep.
B is I said, what happens if we stop drilling? What's going to happen to the oil? If we stop taking the oil out of the ground, what's going to happen? And he says, nothing. Well, it'll be so much better for the environment. Well, all this. I said,
But it's
okay.
in the environment right now. Underground.
So I said, it's in the ground. How did we discover oil? I said, do you know the history of and how many years ago we discovered it? He's like, no idea. Many thousands of years ago, throughout history, they talk about what they did with oil. They didn't have the drills.
Correct.
They didn't have the environmental agencies to monitor what's happening.
It just kind of bubbled up.
Overlords.
It bubbled up,
The
right?
Brea tar pits in downtown LA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the point of it is it's been there. It's always been there. It's going to seep out of the ground and do things. My belief system says it was put in place for us to use, just like tomatoes.
Sure.
I feel like having chili today,
That sounds good.
But the point being is it's another piece to our way of living,
Right.
the way of survival, things like that. What is fossil fuel? I asked that question to him. What is it?
Dead dinosaurs.
It's me. That was his answer. Dead dinosaurs. I said, what's a dead dinosaur? I said, it's me.
Well, you're not dead yet, but you're getting to be a dinosaur.
I will be. It's I mean, I know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I might not
inevitable.
be a dinosaur, but I'll be dead.
Yeah, it's inevitable.
It is going to happen. And so I said that's exactly what it is. It's oil. What happens? We produce oil when we die. Our bodies, they seep into the ground, and that is exactly what it is. It is replenished, maybe not as fast as we're currently using it. I don't know.
Sure.
I don't think anybody honestly knows. But the point being is that it is in a sense, renewable product.
Mm-hmm.
That is the reality of it. I've read, it's been many, many years, I've read a lot of articles on it, and there are some that say at current consumption, with the projection of how many people are going to be, in use. We have like 500 years of oil if no more oil is produced.
We have a lot
In the
more
US?
than
Right. And that's the minimal.
You're talking U.S.
that. In the U.S., just the field that's in North Dakota, Montana, and Canada, that whole area.
Yep.
I've read that there's 2,000 years worth of oil there, just on our consumption today. That's not including Alaska. That's not including the oil reserves in Yellowstone and the Rockies.
Wow.
We have more oil under our dirt than the Middle East. Just in the Williston area, there's more oil there than there is in the Middle East. All of the Middle East.
Yeah.
We're not going to run out of oil. Yes, we need to be careful of our
Yes,
environment.
absolutely. Yes.
But you can't say that buying an electric car is the solution to our environment. Electric cars are not zero carbon footprint. And what's frustrating to me is, yes, what's happening in Ukraine is a terrible thing right now, but all these posts of, you're bitching about your $4 gas, but what about the grandma sitting on the floor with her cat wondering where her family is? No disagreement that what's happening in Ukraine is horrible, but that $4 gas, that's not hurting the person that has a $60,000 Tesla. Well, first off, we can, and this was thrown back on our face all the time, we can focus on more than one thing at a time.
Yeah.
It's okay to be sad for the people in Ukraine, and it's okay to be upset with the gas prices. But who truly is the gas pricing hurting? Low-income families, because they can. I can absorb it. I can put $100 of gasoline in my truck and still put food on my table. But if you're on a fixed income or you're a low-income family, that's going to bury you. That is, it used to be that, I have to choose between. It is
burying my small business.
Well, yeah.
Because it turns into the air travel costs going up, right? So it's not just your car and all these products we said.
All the products.
But I'm saying like low-income families, it's food on the table or gas to get to work to put food on the table.
Do you like bacon?
Should I answer that question? No.
Love
I
it.
mean, bacon's good when it's cooked right.
Yeah.
So what's bacon wrapped in at the store?
Bacon.
Plastic wrap, typically.
Keep it preserved. Very important.
So it's freezable.
Yeah, all of it. So that's that's the thing. Like, just
how does
think
bacon
about
get to the store?
Think about it. Has nothing.
On a truck.
Right, but it has nothing to do with gasoline. Excuse me. It's not 100% to do with gasoline that you put in your car. There are so many other things to this.
Yes.
That's like the point.
Absolutely.
It's not cut and dry.
No,
it's not about. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No,
it strangles the gasoline strangles almost everybody that is not a millionaire.
Right.
You have George Takei that comes out and says the stupid thing that he said. You have Stephen Colbert, same thing. And I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it. It's stupid because they are so out of touch. They're so out of touch. They're so outnumbered. In other words, there are a lot fewer people in their category of living than there are in our category of living. And there will be more. And what I've discovered is it takes brave people like yourselves to come and talk about this. So thank you.
I don't consider myself brave, just speaking my mind.
To do it publicly like this, I've really come to that conclusion. It really is, because the people that deny doing this particular thing is astronomical. I mean, there's a lot of people that say no. And so that's the point too, is like, hey, we are also here fighting for those voices that won't speak out. And so I don't want to focus on just the gasoline price in general.
Yep.
That's all I was saying was like bacon.
Right. Well, and
Affects all of it.
yeah.
It's on a
Deeply.
styrofoam tray that's wrapped in saran wrap that gets brought to the store on the truck. I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of oil involved in raising the pigs and harvesting the food that the pigs eat. Like, it's not just getting it wrapped on the counter. It's
Yeah.
everything from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Involves oil products.
I keep hearing the press secretary and maybe other people talking about, I think you mentioned the 9,000, is it permits or what do they call it?
Let me see. 9,000, where I had it here. 9,000 plus unused drilling permits that are approved.
Yeah, so drilling permits. But that doesn't mean maybe they have the resources on their property, but do they have the safe pipeline from their property to get it delivered to the right person or to the right
refineries.
Yeah, I mean and are they in a town that's so overregulated?
Yeah, they talk, that's
so that
what's
they
brought
aren't
up
even
here too,
allowed
is-
to.
Yeah.
I mean, you
the
can't.
rights of way it talks about.
Yeah.
They need permits for that are being denied.
Our administration federally can't turn it back on we the people and say, well, we gave you permission. Well, there might be permission on one portion of it, but maybe the permissions for the rest of it, the whole picture,
There's pinch points
is
down
not
the road.
granted
Right.
yet, or is stifled or doxed because of someone around them wants only the green energy
Right.
allowed in that city. I mean, sometimes you can't help who your neighbor is when you buy property, or if you find resources on your property, there'll be people around you that'll be screaming to make sure you can't produce maybe that oil or sell it.
So the funny thing is, and I go on YouTube tangents, and I saw a video, and they talked about there are oil drilling wells in LA all over, but they're masked, and they look like just normal office buildings or
Really?
Yeah,
just a
I've heard that
windowless
too.
building, and inside of it is an oil well.
Oh,
Right.
so it's
But they don't want to scare people by
Wow.
oil wells drilling in the middle of LA.
Yeah.
Yep.
So out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
Yet here you go.
Interesting.
And again, what's in downtown LA? La Brea tar pits.
Yeah.
So, and I want to touch on a point. I know we're running out of time, but some stuff I'd seen on Facebook of, well, the people that are the low income folks that can't afford gas, well, they can just take public transportation or Uber or this or that. And I'm like, so all of those things also run on fuel. And if you don't think that your Uber fees are going to go up,
That's right.
well, you can carpool. Yup. But $4 gas split 4 ways is still $1, where $2 gas was 50 cents.
And those, right.
Use some common sense. And the buses,
But
the buses also run on
then
fuel
that
too.
does take out of the economy elsewhere too.
Absolutely.
Right? Like if you do those things, that actually takes out of the economy
Then you're
elsewhere.
not buying cars.
You're not buying cars. You're not going to the mechanic.
Yeah.
You're all of it. So
It
it's
cripples everything it possibly can. And I believe somebody wants to do that.
I
think
believe
there's
so
intention
too.
to this. Yeah.
So it is interesting because they, they talk about, yeah, sure, there are 9,000. They talk about where, reading a lot of the different things. Some of the oil executives, companies have come out and said, hey, look, yes, this is true. We have this lease for this federal thing.
Yeah.
Pre-Biden, by the way.
Yeah.
And so they're still exploring whether it even has oil. Then the steps are to get the right of ways to put like driveways in to go and drill.
Yes.
There's all of these different things, and it's not about the one thing. There's environmental litigation. They talk about that they have to do. There are literally places that they have leases that since the Biden administration has come in that laws have been changed or permit regulations have been changed so that they can't get a permit for something else to actually do the drilling. Right. So they don't trust the administration is kind of what that says to me. So why are they going to invest all this money into something that in another month from now that they're going to say, no, we're not going to give you this piece of that.
Right.
I believe, is it not true there's 7 to 8 different pieces to that actual lease process. So in other words, you got the right of way, you've got the drilling permit, you know, all of, I don't have them in front of me, but I thought I remembered reading there's like 7 or 8 different actual permits.
I would imagine there is. I haven't looked into it specifically, but it only makes sense because if anyone's ever started a business or tried to build something, there's not just one permit to build a house. It's multiple facets. So
yeah, it's deep, it's wide,
it's a mess.
And
but I got here. I had gas in my car. I made it here.
Yeah.
Getting home, you might have to throw a parachute.
Yeah. We're not Flintstone and
none of
Flintstone cars.
Hey, thanks a lot. I mean, this is something that's a sensitive subject. I know that a lot of people want to talk about it from one angle, and I mean, whether you're on the quote right side or quote left side of the aisle, that's all they want to talk about, right? And so that's why I think it's important that we talk about the bacon. I mean, it's just one of those things that, hey,
or tofu. Let's full circle. Tofu doesn't just show up either. The farmer's got to pick the beans.
Yes.
To make the tofu.
Yes.
So,
absolutely. Perfect. That's perfect.
For our non-bacon loving.
Is that what you're having for lunch, is tofu?
Wrapped in bacon.
Okay.
That's an idea. But that's something that is hard to do. It's hard to focus on what the whole picture would look like because it's easy to focus on the one thing you hate.
Sure.
And there's certainly a lot to be hated on both sides of it. If you want to go down that road, but I choose not to. See you next time. Hey, I know that there's a lot of things to be critical of me for, and I accept that. I've not always made the best decisions, but I've always tried to learn, always tried to not repeat mistakes. And hey everybody, thanks for listening to this conversation that I just had. I was very honored to be a part of it, honored to be the host of This Matters in Real Life. I think it's extremely important to cover a lot of different things and topics and get people's opinions. When my daughter died in the car crash 10 years ago, I said that's what I would do. I would look at the answers, I would look at the truth, and I would make sure that they would intersect. They would not divorce each other. It's so often that we want answers that are not the truth. We want answers that are comfortable. We want answers that make us feel good. Well, there's a lot of things in life that is just, it's not the case. So who am I? Well, I am you. I'm no different than you are. I eat and sleep and, all the different things. Same thing that you do. I hurt. I feel joy. I've had a lot of experience, probably just like you. I work hard, probably just like you. One of the things that you can do to support us is go to shinybrandmerch.com, where you'll see things like the sweatshirt that I have on. I work. I'm a full-time, a truck driver. What do I deliver? Well, I deliver trucks. It's a little bit different of a gig than a normal truck driver, yes, but I am what would be considered a commercial vehicle transport specialist. So about 5 to 6 days a week, I deliver trucks. I get into a truck, I go 2,000 miles, I deliver it to its new owner, I get on an airplane and I go find another one. Nothing real glamorous unless you make it that way. And I've decided that I would have a lot of conversations along the way, and some of those conversations I'll be able to share with you. Again, hey, thanks for your support. Appreciate you. We'll see you next time.